Hello, it's ShadeX, and in this video I'll be talking about Clone High, a canceled show that is coming back that has recently become a big meme on Twitter. If you've been frozen for several years and are unaware of the show, Clone High was an adult cartoon that aired on MTV from November 2nd, 2002 to April 13th, 2003. Clone High is a very funny show. It was created by Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Bill Lawrence, though the third did not have much involvement. Still, Lawrence did co-write the first episode with Lord and Miller. The show is about clones of historical figures that go to high school together. The main leads of the show are teen clone versions of Abe Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Gandhi, Cleopatra, and JFK. It was a very funny show, but it only lasted one season of 13 episodes. The show got cancelled because Indians were offended by the portrayal of Gandhi's clone in the show. Because of that, it seemed the show would never come back, and Lord and Miller moved on to bigger things. However, on July 2nd, 2020, it was announced the show would come back in the form of a reboot. A lot of Clone High videos have been coming out lately. Pan did a review all the way back in 2016, but recently there have been a lot more. This year, Nintendo did a great review of the show that was very in-depth. I find it quite odd that the show got renewed the month after his review came out, but that could easily be a coincidence. In light of this news, Cash did a fantastic video on the music of the show. Also, I Love Kim Possible a lot did a very informative video on the show that Cash appeared in. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a Clone High video as a lot of people made some already. However, Clone High is still very relevant as Twitter has been buzzing about it. The show has gotten a ton of new fans and quite a few of them like the character JFK. He's been memed all over Twitter. Clone JFK's popularity is what gave me the idea for this video. I also watched this show all the way back in 2014, and I have a lot to say about it. But rather than doing a full-fledged review of Clone High, I instead want to talk about why JFK is an important character in the show, and then end by talking about my experience watching the show. JFK is a clone of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. He is a jock, and he has two gay foster dads. He goes to Clone High and is the rival of Abe Lincoln, a clone of the 16th President of the United States. The show begins with the two pining after Cleopatra. A lot of the humor from the early episodes of the show comes from Abe and JFK competing for her affection. This is shown in the first episode where he says this line.
My abs are so firm you can grate cheese on them!
Another one of the best examples of this is the PSAT episode, where Abe and JFK do a drag race for Cleo's affection, where this classic scene happens.
Ha ha ha! Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys!
Eventually, however, Abe and Cleo officially become a couple to JFK's disappointment. JFK at first seems to be the Chad jock, and while he very much so still is, there is so much more to his character. He's so much more than a womanizer. The latter adds a lot of humor to his character though. I find it funny about how JFK brags about who he is having sex with.
Hi, Kennedy.
I invaded her bay of pigs, if you catch my meaning. You mind? Some of us are nailing Catherine the Great here. Or should I say, Catherine the So-So?
This stuff is a big part of JFK's character, but he isn't simply one-dimensional. He has an arc in the first season of the show, as he goes through a lot of character development. For example, at first JFK is a bully towards Gandhi, but soon the two become friends. One of my favorite subplots featuring the two was the episode Playing Crazy, Gate Expectations, where Gandhi gets a rap career with JFK as his manager. However, the episode that stands out for me the most is the Clone High episode titled Litter Kills. Literally. The episode begins with Ponce de Leon, a character who was never in the show before, being treated as an important character. Ponce is JFK's best friend. This is proven by JFK's tattoo, which says they are two peas in a pod. Ponce and JFK constantly litter together. However, soon the two get in a fight while eating individually wrapped chocolates. Ponce tells JFK that he hates him. JFK then leaves, and Ponce is about to apologize, but then he gets murdered by the trash he threw on the ground before he can. This absurd scene was inspired by Dawson's Creek, week. Specifically the episode where Dawson's dad dies because he ate ice cream while driving. Lord and Miller talked about this in a 2014 interview with Grantland.
You know the episode where Ponce de Leon dies?
It's very, very similar to an episode where Dawson's dad dies. He dies from ice cream. This is not a parody.
He and Dawson get into a fight.
And Dawson says, "I hate you, Dad," or something like that. And then Dawson's dad goes to an ice cream parlor, which I guess he does all the time when he needs to think about life and stuff.
And he tells the ice cream guy, "I'm really proud of you, son. I love him. I should probably tell him that." Then he gets his ice cream, which has a very ill-placed second scoop on top, which is very teetering, and he's driving back home, happy that he's gonna go resolve things with his son.
And then it's that song. Give me the beat, boys, and lose my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll. And drift away. And he loves that song so much. And he's pumping his fist. And he kind of flicks the ice cream ball onto the floor. And he's on the lonely road and it's all dark. But he decides to lean down and pick up the scoop. I guess he's gonna put it back on the ice cream cone? Which doesn't sound delicious. The floor of a truck has road salt and dirt and whatever else is in there. But he looks up and the light is coming. And that's it.
The creators stated that this scene inspired them to write this episode of Clone High. I wanted to mention this as it was a funny piece of TV trivia I did not know. Litter Kills Literally is a great episode, despite it containing a funny death and a running gag that made it blatantly obvious that Ponce was going to die. The episode was still a very emotional one. JFK is heartbroken when he learns his best friend is dead. JFK clearly feels grief in this episode. You can tell he's very sad that his friend is gone. JFK deals with his grief in funny ways. However, while I find his ways of coping funny, I also feel a deep sympathy for him. Prior to this, JFK was a tough jock. He bullied Abe and Gandhi. Despite all this, he is still human, and he misses his longtime friend. JFK then sees a subconscious that takes the form of Ponce. JFK believes he is actually Ponce's ghost, while his subconscious tries to tell him he is not. JFK then thinks he's a genie and wishes for Ponce back. While this scene is funny, it also makes a lot of sense. JFK's mind can't act rational because he's lost his best friend. The episode features Abe, who is oblivious to JFK's actual sadness, believing that he's playing it up to get with Cleo. However, Abe soon realizes that JFK is genuinely sad about his friend's death and consoles him. JFK then ends the discussion by saying that Ponce is a genie who now lives in his head. JFK uses his power to summon the animals to help him clean the litter. I found this scene hilarious. Anyway, overall, this episode is great because it shows JFK at his lowest. He's sad that his friend is gone, but despite all this, he lets Ponce's memory live on as him and his friends build a better, litter-free future. This episode overall is great as it shows JFK isn't simply a comic relief. Behind his tough appearance, he is very mentally fragile. Deep down, JFK is a sensitive guy, and that's very relatable, as everyone feels sad emotions sometimes.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys! Wah! Like my tattoo says, we're like two peas in a pod, best friends for life, till death do us part. Ponce de Leon was my best friend. Stand up! I know you're not really dead. Stand up or I'll sock you one! Oh my god, I just killed my dead friend, Ponce. I'm gonna sleep here next to you. Ah! I was in a coffin with a dead guy! Ah!
Oh.
You're a genie!
I'm not a genie.
For my first wish, I want my dead friend back! Ponce! You're back! Oh, I missed you, buddy!
This is so frustrating.
Now Mario's dead! I'm killing everyone! Oh, I couldn't Ponce have had 3 lives like Mario! Hold me! pick up some litter!
Are you alright?
No.
But I will be.
After that episode, JFK developed more as a character. He wasn't simply a bully anymore. That part of JFK was now gone. JFK in the last 2 episodes did a lot of interesting things. For one, he taught Gandhi how to act and talk like him, and turned him into JFK. Still, it is very apparent that JFK is somewhat of a jerk, as he tells Gandhi that he was a dork before he converted him into a smaller version of himself. The most interesting out of all the interactions has got to be JFK's interaction with Joan of Arc. Abe has ignored her feelings towards him all throughout the first season. However, when she gets a makeover, he falls for her. Prior to this, Abe did not appreciate Joan. However, JFK actually likes Joan for who she is. He noticed that Abe did not care for her prior to the makeover. Anyway, this season ends with JFK and Joan hooking up, and Abe is about to tell Joan he loves her, but then they all get frozen. That's how the season ends as far as JFK's arc is concerned. JFK is a very funny character, but he's also a very well written character that I hope to see more of. The internet seems to love him as well, as recently a ton of fan art and memes have spawned out of nowhere. The Clone High fandom is a lot bigger now, and it makes sense with the large amount of videos coming out and the fact that the show is coming back. A lot of funny JFK Clone High memes have shown up on Twitter, so I decided to have my friend Manuel look at them in an effort to find the best ones.
Tonight, on a very special Clone High.
Meme review.
My day be so fine, then boom, mental illness. Which is pretty funny, to be honest. There's other variations of the meme like, my day be so fine, then boom, Twitter. Now this one I like, because, get this, Twitter's fucking awful.
My day be so fine, then boom, mental illness.
This meme comes from ArtPizze on Twitter, which is the Virgin Abe Lincoln versus the Chad JFK, which is obviously a meme referring to the Virgin versus Chad meme. It's also a reference to the finale of Clone High, which is left on a cliffhanger. I really like the art in this one. There's another variation of the meme, which has a bit more information about why JFK is the obvious Chad. Oh, here it comes.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys!
Ah, that always gets me.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys! Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys! So, are you drunk enough yet to sleep with me? Answer the question!
Loca, California's finest, all for you to smoke out.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Watch me, hold me, sign my cast for me, will me.
There's also like JFK voiceovers, and some of them sound really fucking accurate. It's almost impressive.
If you have a crush on me, and are wondering if I like you back, I don't. Tell me anyway, though. It's good for my self-esteem. I may be fucking stupid, but at least I'm not a dumb bitch.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys.
Thanks, Manuel. These JFK memes sure are popular. So popular that Chris Miller, the voice of JFK, is embracing it. Now he's using his talent to encourage people to vote by recording voice lines for early voters. I'm really glad Clone High has gotten a much bigger fan base as of late. The show initially had a short lifespan of 13 episodes. I watched this show on YouTube all the way back in 2014. I was 17 and in high school then. Now I am 24 and finishing college. I'm glad Clone High is coming back. I had a feeling it would come back, especially since Lord and Miller became two very well-known writers and directors in the film industry. I'm excited about their next animated film, Connected, which will come out in the near future. There was a time where Lord and Miller believed that their show would never come back.
Yes, I think it's coming back
in 2000 and
2000 and never, yeah.
This was all the way back in 2009. Back then they were promoting Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which turned out to be a massive success. I am really glad that Lord Miller got successful enough to bring back Clone High, which was their first big project they made together. I'm curious what the next season of Clone High will have in store. I really do hope it's a continuation rather than a complete reboot, and that seems to be the case as Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Bill Lawrence are returning to write a pilot, along with an original writer of the show named Erica Rivanoja, who will be the showrunner. It is likely that the new season will be on Comedy Central, as Beavis and Butthead is making the move from MTV after being cancelled again in the 2010s. I am really excited about more Clone High. I am really looking forward to more JFK memes. JFK is a great character from a great show. This has been ShadeX, and I hope you all feel nothing but good vibes.